I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you want to come over to Europe for your holidays, or maybe to live here, or if you're thinking about why is everything so expensive in the United States in comparison with Europe, then you are at the right place, because in this channel I react to videos about Europe and America, about the cost of life and living, or life and living in the United States and in Europe, comparison to each other, and see who comes out. And for today we're gonna take a look at the video of Daniel Drew. Why do Europeans dislike Americans so much? I start with a subscribe and a like. I'm not sure if this is correct, but yeah, I do not dislike Americans. I'm just wondering, and I know there are a lot of cultural differences between Europeans and Americans, but there are cultural differences in Europe in general, for Germany and France, or Germany and Spain, or Greece and Norway. So do we dislike? I don't know. But my perspective, let's see what Nathaniel has to say. Why do Europeans dislike Americans this much? Let's take a look.
I'm asking questions about how Europeans see Americans.
I think it's a third world country with a lot of money. Very negative.
Very negative.
Yeah, I don't see anything positive about America.
I think they're a bit stupid. American TikTokers, they earn too much money with what they do. Like
Okay, right out of the door. They earn too much money for what they do. That sounds a bit like jealousy. But yeah, let's hear.
Like in Belgium, you have to work for money and they just make videos and that's it.
Oh, let me know, guys, but I don't think this is... but it's their view of America. So that's the direction we're going to. The stereotypes that we think about the Americans, I'm not sure if they're all correct. So this is the intro. Sounds like an interesting video. Let's take a look.
You know, I might be completely wrong about this, but I think it was a little bit cooler to be American when I was a kid. I've lived in Europe for several years now, and look, I've romanticized this continent quite a bit. I really like living here. But there's a funny feeling that I cannot shake, and I think it has to do with how Europeans view Americans, or how Europeans view me when they discover that I'm American. And it's not entirely positive. This feeling has not gone away even though I've been here for a few years now. And it's not hatred, it's more like negative undertones, offhand comments or jokes that are made, and it makes me feel not very cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so below the belt, that kind of stuff. Okay.
And by the way, I recognize not all Europeans dislike Americans. That is a massive generalization. But I'm bringing this up because it's been enough of a trend for me to confidently talk about this as something that's really happening in the world. I don't think it's just in my head. It just seems like when it comes to Europeans' view of Americans, there's a lot to dislike. I don't necessarily entirely disagree. I have plenty of my own criticisms about the United States and the way of life over there. And I think that all places, all societies merit criticism. That's how we get better. So this applies to everyone. But there's something deeper going on here that I want to explore. On a personal level, my own identity as an American, but also the identity of Americans on the global stage. We don't live in a bubble, and it turns out the whole world has opinions about us. Now, I have my own theories about what's going on here, but I thought I'd get to the root of the matter and ask Europeans themselves. Makes me a little bit nervous talking to strangers, but I'm just...
Okay, this is where we're going at. You want to know, and yeah. This looks weird. So, oh, there's a walk. I'm missing some feet over here, but it's a walking. Okay.
Just gonna go for it. What are the stereotypes?
She's German.
That's a good question.
Bah moi, quand je pense aux Américains, je pense à la bouffe et tout.
Dans quel sens? Le fast-food.
Oh, he speaks French. So, not only English, French too.
Okay.
Les McDo. Ouais.
McDo. Ouais,
Hamburger et tout.
Mais les Français adorent McDo.
Oui. Bah, on y était il y a 2 minutes.
Donc c'est pas forcément négatif ça.
Non, non.
Ok.
Mais c'est l'image.
Actually, I like Americans
Okay.
because they are like very chilled. America is like so expensive for good food. Like
Yeah.
for like fruits and all this fresh stuff, it's like so expensive.
J'ai deux visions un peu.
Ok.
J'ai la version où ils sont trop cool et tout, et la version vraiment le beauf américain.
Do you think the stereotypes about Americans are true?
Kind of. I have.
Okay. I tried to react to this, but let's take a look.
A classmate that is American, and we are talking like about our traditional foods. And the American was like, my typical food is hamburger, ice cream, like the McDonald's one. And we are like, oh, so McDonald's is your typical food? She was like, yeah, kind of.
Could I just take?
Okay. The French girls also talk about, yeah, America's all about McDonald's and hamburgers. They only eat hamburgers. I know you know, but it's a view.
Couple minutes, ask a couple questions. It's okay if you don't have time, it's fine. Okay, all good. Have a nice day. The Americans don't have time for me.
The Americans don't have time for me.
That's kind of funny. Would you mind if I asked you a couple questions?
Polarized. Extremely polarized.
Yeah.
Oh, Dutch, we are polarized.
More than the Netherlands.
Much more.
Feel younger people feel the same way or differently about American?
I think even stronger.
Even stronger.
I think they feel
Okay.
even stronger.
What? It was about polarized. It didn't.
Would you mind if I asked you a couple questions?
Polarized.
Americans are polarized, extremely polarized. Okay.
Extremely polarized.
Yeah. More than the Netherlands.
Much more.
Feel younger people feel the same way or differently about American?
I think even stronger.
Even stronger.
I think they
Okay.
feel even stronger.
Yeah, the older people, I feel maybe thinking of the World War II and World
Yeah.
War I, in which the Americans did a very good job
Yeah.
by helping because Europe was not doing very well.
No, we're not doing very well at all. We were in big trouble. Yeah, but it was not only America. The Canadians also deserve a lot of credit for freeing up the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Ils connaissent que ce qui se passe dans leur pays, j'ai
Ouais,
l'impression.
ouais.
Parce que
Enfermés sur eux-mêmes.
Bon, enfermés sur eux-mêmes.
C'est-à-dire que c'est pas contre eux, mais qu'ils s'intéressent pas trop aux autres pays.
They know about their own country, but not about like other stuff in the world. They're overrated.
Yeah. That's what I agree to. It's you see a lot of Americans know everything, know a lot about their own country, but when it's outside the country, calling some other places or some other nations, they don't care about. In general, they don't care much about what's going out outside the borders of the United States. Yeah. Internal, there's a lot of, but to the external, yeah. And why should they? Because they have a beautiful country, all kinds of things to do, but it would be better if there's something, take a look outside. And that's what a lot of YouTubers doing reaction videos about, so yeah.
They're overrated. How? Like, they receive too much attention?
Yeah, too much hype.
Too much
on
hype.
the internet.
Are you also German?
yes, I am.
And in Germany, you feel like German people have a positive view of Americans? Or
Not really.
no?
I think
Okay, so more negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel that there's been a change at all in terms of how Americans are viewed, like in the last 10, 15 years?
I think so, yes. Especially due to the Trump and the Tea
Yeah.
Party things happening.
Yeah.
The Tea Party things happening? The Tea Party is a long way ago. I hope that she meant the two parties instead of the tea parties. The two-party things going on. Yeah, okay.
Got more polarized, and that made it more negative in my view.
There's more that I'd like to say about why I believe this dynamic is happening, why Europeans see Americans in this way. But before I do, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is BetterHelp. And look, therapy is a really powerful tool when it comes to anything and everything identity related. I absolutely love living abroad. I wouldn't exchange it for the world. But it has come with its own emotionally challenging situations, and it's been helpful to work with a therapist over the years. Loneliness, my own self-image, my self-worth, those are the kinds of things that I've been working at developing a deeper understanding of over the years thanks to therapy. BetterHelp is 100% online and designed to be convenient and flexible to adapt to your schedule and what works for you. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it works for you. They give you access to a very large network of licensed therapists, and so if the therapist that you're working with doesn't work out, it isn't a good fit, you can switch to a new one at no additional charge. So if you're interested in checking it out, you can get 10% off your first month if you sign up at betterhelp.com/NathanielDrew, and I'll leave that link in the description as well.
Yeah, if you want to use that link. I don't have this link, but yeah, use their link.
It's one of the best ways to support my work. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. All right, time for me to share some of my own personal theories here. Here's why I think it was maybe a little bit cooler to be American in the past. I was born in the 90s, maybe like some of you. And back in the 90s, it's not like the United States,
Yeah, I was born in the 70s.
or the world for that matter, didn't have its problems. It definitely did. You're not gonna get any of that classic, nostalgic, those were the days kind of thing from me. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that back in the 90s, the internet had not yet completely taken over our lives like it has now. And in my view, the internet feels like it's taken whatever problems already existed and made them bigger and louder. That might actually be what the internet is best at.
Wow. Wow. I need to think about it. How? Because the internet blew it all up? Make it bigger? Make it louder? What? Make it bigger, louder? Make it bigger as in making the problems bigger? Or is it bigger that it's the internet make it more accessible for more people to see the problems that there are in the United States or somewhere else? And louder.
Fast transmission of ideas and information, which in turn amplifies them. And there's another thing that the internet is really good at, which is that it is a canvas for less curated or filtered versions of that information or ideas. There are less gatekeepers, so anyone can say anything. My theory is that as time has gone on, and as the internet has played a bigger and bigger role in our lives, the world has been exposed to a less curated version of the United States.
Yeah, okay. Raw of people, ordinary, like me, ordinary people in the United States making videos, making comments on videos, raw, pure, honest, telling how it is, how it actually is, or how they actually feel about things in or around America, in or around their lives, without it could be sanitized or filtered by either of the two parties as the real policy or the things that, okay, that's what he meant. Yeah, okay.
We had movies and TV and pop music reaching the entire world, but it wasn't like it is today with social media and even the news reaching so many more people. Nowadays, it feels like you cannot escape the news about the mass shootings that are constantly happening in the US or the insane election cycles. I think in some ways, the internet might have taken away some of our innocence, right? Some of our naivete. As a result, even more curated versions of culture, like the highly produced TV shows and movies, are reflecting the things that we're seeing. The unintelligent or simple
the unintelligent, somebody playing it, okay?
American is a very believable archetype and not a new one. You've got at least one, and often more than one character that perfectly fits that archetype in pretty much all American sitcoms, from Friends to How I Met Your Mother. And there are plenty of shows that play off of this very intentionally. I think of South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons. And internationally, the contrast is even more stark. And it might just be me, but it does feel like the perception of Americans is deteriorating. I mean, I'm thinking about shows like Emily in Paris or The White Lotus. The White Lotus in particular blew me away because it felt so believable and oftentimes in a very depressing way. Clearly, Americans are not known for being refined or in touch with reality. This
Okay.
This is particularly true of wealthy Americans. And why wouldn't Europeans feel this way? We are famously terrible at learning foreign languages. To many, we're seen as living in our own giant bubble.
A lot of people beforehand used to think like the US was like very cool and this really lovely place to go to, but I feel like everyone just thinks it's dangerous and that they don't care about their citizens. There's all these shootings going on, like their healthcare is horrible, their schooling's horrible.
So there's been a change.
I think it's always been like that. I think there's a change now because like social media is is making it more apparent.
America used to be, like the American dream, like a lot of them used to be a big thing. Like gun crime is getting publicized a lot more. So I think the narrative is changing a little bit.
Je vois l'Amérique comme une grande puissance mondiale et je les vois comme des capitalistes. En fait, si t'as de l'argent, tu vis bien, mais si t'as pas d'argent, y a personne pour t'aider. Marche ou crève.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in the videos lately and last Saturday on my live show. Yeah, it's especially now in 2025. I see a lot of videos coming by. If you have money, then it's all okay. But if you don't, then you're in big trouble. That's,
Friends, we say the Americans are big in the fact that I have America with their friends, the salary friends.
Donc il y a des côtés positifs et des côtés négatifs.
Ouais, c'est ça exactement. Globalement, les gens pensent ça, mais en même temps, tout le monde va aller à New York et tout le monde va aller aux États-Unis.
Ouais, d'accord, ok.
C'est ça en fait, ouais. Ils ont des préjugés, mais en même temps, c'est quand même un rêve d'y aller.
J'étais absolument ulcérée quand Trump...
I was horrified when Trump was in power. This video is from when? 2 years ago. He's now back in power.
était au pouvoir, de voir le comportement de cet homme, ça donne pas envie d'aller forcément dans ces conditions.
It doesn't really make you want to go to the US in these conditions 2 years ago. Now it's even worse in America with Trump and his ICE people and everybody stopping at the border and living for weeks in a chain or in some ICE detention. Allies, Germans, Canadians.
Le fait que les gens soient très très armés, j'ai l'impression que je me sentirais pas en sécurité.
Most people love Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you clarify you're a Canadian, they're like, phew.
Yeah. We're like, oh, Canada, where are you from in Canada?
For me, it's like a lot about the money, like the times I went to New York and it's like, winners and losers and, you gotta make it and you gotta make loads of money and la 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 and then like if you don't have money you're like basically fucked. I would say extremes. It's like an extreme, country, like very very rich, very very poor, right. Eat very much, eat very 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 healthy, like extreme healthy, extreme like XXXL, McDonald's, whatever.
Where are you from?
England.
Perfect. So I'm doing a video on Europeans' view of Americans.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any opinions about that.
We're not European. Whoa! Oh my God! Correction here. Did I just say a couple of minutes ago that there are Americans who doesn't know anything about Europe? But now I've got two Great Britain people. I think they are from England inside Great Britain, but they don't know that they are a part of Europe. They're looking at each other. You don't know?
No, we're not. We left the EU.
We left the EU. Yeah, okay, but you're still European. Brexit didn't mean that you left the EU, Europe. You left the European Union. Oh my God. She's embarrassed too. Oh.
No, this is in Europe.
Do you feel like it's a more positive or a negative view of Americans?
I'd say negative. I feel like there's a lot going on there that's just a bit backwards.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we need to move along.
Yeah.
The like, you know, all the abortion laws coming in.
So politically.
And, yeah, like all the gun crimes,
Yeah.
things like that. Like I imagine like the most of the country is absolutely lovely, but there's some of the morals that are just a little bit off.
The morals are a little bit off. Yeah, abortion, that's a big discussion within the United States. I do not touch it, but there's a big discussion over there and people coming over to Europe because we don't talk about it, we just do what you like.
For me, so I struggle with that.
I agree, but I do think you're all like proper chatty and that, and you're really energetic.
Yeah.
So it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But I
lovely
also
to
agree
meet
with that as well.
Yeah.
It's lovely to meet Americans.
Yeah.
Love meeting Americans.
Okay, so why am I so interested in this topic? Well, over the last few years, I have shared my journey moving abroad and looking for a home. Because that home is not the United States. I just don't feel connected to that country. Not as a home, even though I'm coming to realize that it did shape me in many ways. I'm just trying to find my place, but as I've said before, different people will treat you in different ways based off of how they perceive you. The first time I experienced this was during my high school exchange in France when I was 16 years old. Obama was president, and regardless of your personal political opinions or feelings, he was seen in a generally positive light abroad. So in a weird way, even though I was not responsible for electing him, I wasn't even of age to vote, that scored me some cool points. And then on top of it, 16-year-old French kids living in a small town in the west of France thought it was cool that I rode a yellow bus to school and that I had my own personal locker in the United States. So
Yeah, a personal locker. Some schools do have lockers, not personal lockers, but lockers. Yeah, but not all of the schools. No.
I was benefiting from all these things that I didn't really control at all. Then I get to Argentina a few years later, and I see what it's like to be on the flip side, where the general sentiment was more negative. I'm generalizing here, but there's a bit of an anti-American streak in Argentina. And I think this comes down to the image that the United States has of being a bit of a bully. I mean, Che Guevara is a bit of an anti-American, anti-capitalist symbol, right? So that was a very different experience, and now I'm back in Europe, and I've been here for a while, and the perception has changed yet again.
90% of the Dutchmen think Trump is quite strange.
I was fact-checking him, but yeah. I still agree that 90% now after 2 years still think that Trump is more than a bit strange.
Yeah.
They think Republicans are also quite strange, and that Americans are very Puritan.
Yeah, the Dutch think so. Americans are very Puritan. I don't think that a lot of people in the Netherlands know. Oh, they do know Republicans and the Democrats, but yeah, that's it. They know there are Republicans and they know there are Democrats, but most of the people don't know who's good and who's bad, if there is a good and a bad. No.
This might just be me, but I do feel like the image of Americans has deteriorated a little bit over the last 10 years. That might come down to the government that's currently in power. It might come down to social media. This is a very complex thing, so I can't point to a single reason, but it's definitely a feeling that's there. Now, on a
yeah, and this is for 2 years ago. But nowadays, 2025, with Trump in charge, it's even more negative view from Europe to the United States because of what Trump is doing with ICE, what Trump is doing with the tariffs, what Trump is doing with renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Why? To make peace as the default setting to Russia, while there is hatred, there's some minor love to Ukraine, etc. So yeah, it doesn't make it better, the view about the Americans right now in 2025 with President Trump on the other end or the other in power in the United States. It doesn't make it better.
Personal level, before I realized that this was going on, I was kind of unintentionally overcompensating. I felt like I needed to show that I wasn't the out-of-touch American in Europe. And the same thing happened to me in Argentina, where I was speaking with as much slang as I possibly could that I picked up over there, even when it was just way too much, when it was inappropriate. Que zarpado, boludo, está re piola, pibe, mal. Why was I acting like that? Was there a deeper need within me to be accepted by the people that I am surrounded by? To me, it's a little bit cringy to behave that way because it's overcompensating for something, which in this case was the identity that people were associating with me. Whatever it was, the out of touch, stupid American, or whatever it might be. But that's actually a me problem, not a problem with the world. I've come to realize that people can think whatever they want about you. It doesn't change who you are. If people see me as yet another dumb American, it doesn't mean that's true. And also, it doesn't mean all Americans are that way. I think we all know this. We all know that individuals don't necessarily follow the stereotypes, but it's also how people operate in a world of 8 billion people. I can't blame people for having formulated an idea about the place that I'm from, considering how much culture is exported from that place. A part of me used to try to distance myself as much as possible from anything and everything American, but the truth is that at least some part of me, some piece of me, has been influenced by my upbringing there. There are a lot of things I don't like, but there are some things that I do. If genuinely being very enthusiastically excited about simple things is the dumb American thing to do, then fine, maybe I'm a dumb American sometimes, because that is something that comes naturally to me. I would rather be myself and accept the consequences than try to be someone that I'm not. And you know what? Everyone wants to feel welcome wherever they are, and especially in their home. But the reality is that that's actually a luxury, not a given. So many immigrants in the United States were never made to feel that way, despite the fact that the country benefited tremendously from all the immigration, all the people that risked their lives.
Or what about slavery? People didn't even get to choose and still got mistreated.
To go build something over there. Honestly, I don't have it that bad. Who am I kidding? I don't have it bad at all. It could be so much worse, and oftentimes it is. Exploring this topic has really given me quite a bit of empathy for the immigrants that are very poorly received all around the world. So, what do you think about everything I just shared here? What is your perception of Americans or of Europeans towards Americans? I would be curious to hear because this is a giant open-ended topic, and I invite all different opinions and perspectives on this. It's just something I love to explore. Also, apologies to all Latin Americans and Canadians who are Americans in their own right. I have decided to use that word in this video because there isn't really another word that has been widely adopted to still speak of the people of the United States. So I just used it for simplicity, and I hope that you can forgive me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you very soon.
Bye guys. Bye guys. Bye guys.
Videos of him in his early days. Wow. Yeah, okay. Why do Europeans dislike? He had a lot of questions. It was a good video. It's a good video. I did react to it, so it's the current view. Yeah, I know. If you see all of my videos, then you know how I think about Americans, and not Americans, but America, and what's going on in the United States, not specifically Americans, because, yeah, they have. But how it's going in America right now, oh man, and that's not being well perceived by the Europeans and anyone else in the world, how America is currently functioning and what it's doing to its own people, but also to the people and the countries around America, their allies. And yeah, it's not good. And I don't think that Europe and other countries are Europeans talking very positively right now about the United States and what's going on in the United States. Good video. If you like the video, if you like the comments, and comment then, let me know by pressing the thumb up. And if you want to see more of my videos, then this is a good one to do to start with. And otherwise, you can always press this button, and subscription would be very appreciated to my channel, because it gives the algorithm the signal that you liked it and that other people should see this too. So thank you, and see you in the next video.